Feuchamaich, ye Olde Scot the Celtic podcast. Kimraha Huladunya, how is everyone? On today's show in Feuchamaich, Beagan, Gaidhlig, that's Let's Try Little Gaidhlig. Lesson 11, on colors. In Celtic history, the third invasion, the Nemedians. In everyday Celtic ways, the Isle of Man and the wren hunt. Now we're going to hear music from Gaidhlig, Brigham Phillips, Corina Hewitt, Beyond the Pale, and Bonnie Rideout. And as always, it's a wee bit of Irish trivia to start us off. How many counties are in the whole island of Ireland? Check out the Olde Scot Facebook group where you can be a part of the Celtic culture, and keep an eye out for all the different videos our YouTube channel and Facebook group have to offer. Feuchamaich, let's kick this thing off. Today's song is Eilean Dún by Gaidhlig. Many people think this song is about Alan MacDonald of Rob Roy fame and his demise or betrayal of Rob Roy. But it has nothing to do with Robert Roy McGregor. In the movie Rob Roy, it would be silly for her to be singing the song about something that was just happening at that moment. No, Eilean Dún, Dark-Haired Alan, is a traditional Scottish song meant for a female voice. This lament was written in Gaelic for Alan Morriston by his fiancée, Annie Campbell. Alan Morriston was a sea captain from the Isle of Lewis. In the spring of 1788, he left Stornoway to go to Scalpe on the Isle of Harris, where he was to marry Annie Campbell. Unfortunately, his ship sailed into a storm, and the entire crew sank with the vessel. The broken-hearted Annie wasted away over the next few months from grief and composed this lament for her lost love in her last few days before she lost her will to live and died. Her body was found on shore near where her fiancé's body was found. Wow, that's sad. Alright, I hope you enjoy learning Eilean Dún. And remember, the Gaelic will be at the top and the English will be at the bottom. Scottish Gaelic is native to the Gaels of Scotland. Scottish Gaelic developed out of the Old Irish, and learning this beautiful language can be a direct link to your Gaelic ancestors. Follow along in Feuchamaich Beagan Gaelic, and like I said, let's try a little Gaelic. Fáilte Ye Olde Scots, the beginner's Gaelic course. Kimra Hula Dunya, how is everyone? Looky there, you already know how to say welcome to and how is everyone. Alright, in the next 25 lessons of Feuchamaich Beagan Gaelic, that's Let's Try a Little Gaelic, with a little work you can gain a rudimentary understanding of the Scottish Gaelic language. Now, these lessons were taken from my weekly podcast beginning back on May 15th of 2020, so if you like you can listen to them there as well. But please remember that I am not an authority on the Gaelic language. I just love learning it. I struggle like most all learners, and so what I teach comes right from well-respected Gaelic teachers. I hope you find it interesting, informative, and fun, and as always, I display on the screen what I'm discussing so you can follow along. Alright, Kersh Maha, which means, alright then, let's get started. Alright, we're in the 25-part Gaelic lesson. We're doing lesson 11, which is on colors. And as always, I'll display on the screen what I am discussing. The first part is some helpful vocabulary and some sentences that'll get you through. Alright, da is color. J da aha what color is blank, whatever you want to put in there. J da aha show, what color is this? J da aha shin, what color is that? J da aha esulin, what color is her eyes? I guess that could be what color is its eyes. Say you were being attacked by a monster and you were just curious. Alright. And unda, the same color, or the one color, literally. Alright. Falt, which is hair. Sul, which is eye. Sulin, which is eyes. Kluisk, pillow. Ban, which is fair and pale. And Dorka, which is dark. Alright, we're going to move straight on into the colors. And what's funny is the first three in this list are not really colors. They're shades and tints. But most people think of black and white and gray as colors. So there you go. First one is black, which is dew. White, which is gale. Gray, which is glass. Sometimes that also refers to being green. You have red, which is Gaidhlig. Scarlet, which is scarlet. Crimson, which is Gaidhlig. Pink, which is pink. Yellow, which is booyah. Also can mean fair. Orange, which is orange. Dark blue, which is gordum. And it can also mean the green that's kind of like azure. Okay. You have light blue or gray, which is Leah. And that gets used for gray as well. Turquoise, which is Turquoise or Turquoise. Navy blue is Duholm. Green is Uanya. Brown is Don. Reddish brown is Rua, which is also used for like reddish hair. Purple is Purpy. Indigo is Gorlamin. Mauve is Leah Furpy. And gold is Vuya, or just sometimes it's just or. Alright, sometimes you'll see the same names for different colors in different areas. Don't get too concerned about this. It has to do with dialects and the context. Alright. So that's it for colors. But we're going to give you like 6 sentences to translate. Get you using those words again. So, number 1, Jeda aha a chlusik. 2, ha a chlusik Gaidhlig. 3, nakel an ku don. 4, hanil ha an ku du. 5, Jeda aha e sulan. 6, Jeda aha u Alt. Celtic history brings you the tales of the land, castles, warriors, heroes, legends, and customs that have created the rich, vibrant, and sometimes strange and wonderful history of the Celtic world. This is an 8-part series on the Book of Invasions, Labar Gabala Erin, or the Book of Invasions of Ireland. The people of Ireland in medieval times had never believed that the Celtic-speaking people were native to their land. They had believed that the Ireland was invaded and settled by successive Celtic tribes over different periods. Their history is based largely upon the pseudo-historical Labar Gabala, translated into English as the Book of Invasions. Now, the Book of Invasions formed the major part of the Irish mythological cycle and was supposed to contain the history of Ireland. This cycle was written in the book titled Lavar Gabala, and it is the stories of successive invasions and settlement of the Celtic peoples of Ireland. Now, there have been 6 invasions. Another main source of information, though, comes from the first and second Cath Maig Tuireann, or the battles of Maig Tuireann, which were mainly centered on the Tuath Danann. The main interests come from the race of Irish deities known as Tuath Danann, and they were supplanted by the Milesians, the last group of invaders, who became the ancestors of the modern Irish people. The third invasion, Nemedians. The next group of people to arrive in Ireland were the Nemedians. The Nemedians arrived 30 years after the extinction of the Partholanians. They probably came from the west and the land of the dead, or else from Spain. Now, this group sailed for a year and a half, wandering the sea with a fleet of 32 ships, carrying less than 1,000 persons. Only one ship would survive the journey, including Nemed as their leader, and Nemed's 4 sons. Now, Nemed was a descendant of Japheth, a son of the biblical Noah. Nemed was married to Macha, a woman associated with Morrigan, from the race called Tuath Danann. The Nemedians were a descendants of Nemed, and his small group of survivors managed to gradually repopulate the isle. However, the Nemedians also had deadly encounters with the Fomorians, such as the Partholanians did earlier. Though the Nemedians were at first successful against the Fomorians, with 4 decisive victories, a pestilence would decimate their population, until less than 2,000 Nemedians survived. The Nemedians suffered from Fomorian tyranny and oppression, paying heavy tributes to their overlords. Later on, 3 Nemedian chieftains would lead their people in revolt and attack the Fomorian stronghold of Tory Island. Though the Nemedians managed to kill one of the Fomorian kings and captured one of the towers, the Nemedians were almost totally annihilated when the Fomorians received reinforcements. Only 30 Nemedians managed to survive the battle. These survivors fled from Ireland, and the Nemedians as we know them were never heard from again. Fergus Lethdurg fled with his son Britain Mael to Alba, which is modern-day Scotland, where the whole island was named after Britain, Nemed's grandson, while Simeon, son of Erglin, son of Beagan, son of Starn, son of Nemed, had fled to Greece, where they were subjugated and became slaves. The descendants were known as the Fir Bolg, who would later return to Ireland. Another group of Nemedians migrated to the islands of northern Greece. Ibeth, son of Bothak, son of Larbinol, son of Nemed, had brought his followers to these islands, where they became known as Tuath Day. Later, they migrated back to Ireland, where they became known as Tuath Danann. And that's the third invasion.
Banbridge town in the county down one morning last July. From a boring green came a sweet Colleen, and she smiled as she passed me by. She looked so sweet from her 2 bare feet to the sheen of her nut brown hair. Such a coaxing elf, sure shook myself out to see I was really there. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town, not a maid I've seen like the brown Colleen that I met in the county town. She onward sped, sure shook my head, and I looked with a feeling rare. So I says I to a passer-by, who's the maid with the nut brown hair? He smiled at me and he says he, that's a gem of Ireland's crown. Young Rosie McCann from the banks of the Bann, she's the star of the county down. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town, not a maid I've seen like the brown Colleen that I met in the county down. maiden standing over by the door. Well, he fell in love with the Indian maiden over in the antique store. Well, he stood there and never made a sign, because his heart was made not of pine. Well, poor old Elijah never got a kiss. Poor old Elijah don't know what he missed. Well, is it any wonder that his face is red? Elijah, the poor old man. At the harvest fair she was surely there, and a dress in the Sunday clothes, with my shoes shone bright and my hat cocked right for a smile from a nut brown rose. No pipe I'll smoke, no horse I'll yoke, till my plough turns a rust-coloured brown, till the smiling bride by my own fireside is the star of the county down. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town, not a maid I've seen like the brown Pauline that I met in the county down. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town, not a maid I've seen like the brown Pauline that I met in the county down. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town, not a maid I've seen like the brown Pauline that I met in the county down.
Everyday Celtic Ways brings you the mythology, traditions, and customs that have created a unique and personal culture that still affects those that are Celtic and those that just love the Celtic world. The Isle of Man and the Hunt for the Wren. The Isle of Man is located in the North Irish Sea off northwestern Europe. Ireland is to the left, England to the right, Scotland to the north, and Wales to the south. The island comprises 227 square miles, and it measures approximately 33 miles long and 13 miles wide. The population is largely accommodated in the four main towns: Douglas, Ramsey, Peel, and Castletown. Those who come from the island are known as Manx. Now, the cultural influences for the island originate from the indigenous Celtic peoples. Then the Vikings arrived in the island around 800 AD, and the fusion of cultures took place, which is still evident in the archaeology, language, and place names and parliamentary traditions of the island. The Manx language is one of the Gaidhlig languages, closer to Irish and Scottish than the Welsh and Cornish. It is still spoken in the island, although the primary language is English. The island governs itself and is quite independent. The Isle of Man, located in the Irish Sea between Great Britain and Ireland, is not part of the United Kingdom or the European Union, but has the status of Crown dependency. Now, even though its inhabitants are British citizens. Now, being a Celtic nation, its traditions are very important to its people. So when St. Stephen's Day dawns, December 26th, it is with excitement and trepidation that the inhabitants awake to whatever weather may greet them. But regardless, it won't deter many of those heading out to the annual Hunt the Wren across the island. The wren hunt is a long-held tradition to unman, much like other traditions in other Celtic nations. Thankfully, the death of the bird is no longer obligatory, and distribution of its feathers for luck has been superseded by colored ribbons. Regardless of the weather, the revelers enjoy the sunshine or most likely end up sheltered from the appalling weather. However, most brave the deluge. They are proud people determined to honor their traditions, regardless. Later, players usually gather on the original fairfield at St. John's to play an annual game of Feuchamaich. Despite the weather, now, a battle between teams from the north and south play a game similar to shinty or hurling for nothing more than bragging rights. Then the day concludes with rousing music, food, and fun at the Tin-Walled Inn. which lasts well long into the night.
A fond kiss, and then we sever. A farewell, and then forever. Deep in heart-wrung tears, I'll pledge thee. Warring sighs and groans, I'll wage thee. Who shall say that fortune grieves him, while the star of hope she leaves him? Me nae cheerful twinkle lights me, dark despair around me nights me. Who shall blame my partial fancy? Nathan could resist my Nancy, for to see her was to love her, love but her, and love forever. Had we never loved sea kindly? Had we never loved sea blindly? Never met or never parted? We had ne'er been broken hearted.
Top of Level Heritage. Now remember to check out my YouTube channel. It's got Celtic music, podcasts, Gaelic language, Gaelic song, Celtic history videos, plus lots more. And my Facebook group where you can give me your inputs and insights on all things Celtic. But before I let you go, the trivia question answer. There's 32 counties in all of Ireland. Martian Leave and Drozda, bye for now. But I'm going to let you go with a song.
Goodbye, Bobby.